On program.
I say Mog is so annoying, and then the next thing I say is Senator Raincourt is awesome and totally correct.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Raincourt, based.
I have
Andy.
notes.
Notes, dish. Michael, you can hold your notes and tell us how we're all reading into this too much. Go ahead.
Zip your lips, because when you're looking up to heroes, you don't have to face what's right in front of you. Mic drop. Like, wow. Loved it. That's all I had to say.
No, I had that written down here as well. Yep, 100%.
Because I mean, he sees the world in 5D. Like he knows what's going on.
I mean, you don't even have to be clairvoyant, like you can put the problems of the day on other people. And, again, reading too much into it, I mean, it maps onto life. Like, you can very easily do that, just like, the charismatic figure will solve this, or the supernatural, whatever, this, that, and the third. Like, it's a very, I like that quote a lot. But now, Michael,
Yes.
You did raise your hand. Go ahead. Tell me what you're thinking.
Am I unzipping my lip now? We good?
Hey,
I'll allow
she
it.
zipped you. I didn't zip you. So,
I agree, guys. It's fine. I think he's right. Obviously, the Jedi do need oversight because it's weird. But he said something that was really funny in the moment. I think even Hannah and I both laughed about this. He's like, "Yeah, the Jedi are just, they're so powerful. One of you could turn bad, and that would be really bad for everybody. And we're just waiting for that to happen. That could happen at any point, and something bad could happen if one of you turned bad." And I'm like, oh, why now and not any time in the last 25,000 years of Jedi history are we worried about that all of a sudden today? I was like, this is a fair argument and complaint, but like, what has spawned this particular issue now? There's some murders and things going on, but he didn't seem like he was even really aware of that before he was already like oversight of the Jedi. So I'm worried that you guys are really digging this too much and maybe missing that he may be the start of Plagueis's interfering with the council and with the Senate and with the Republic, and trying to like really intertwine the Jedi with more and more politics by putting basically congressional oversight over the Jedi, when the Jedi should be and kind of need to be separate from the whims of the Senate, because as we've seen, that is not really a good thing from a lot of perspectives when the Senate's like, oh, no, we don't want the Jedi to go here. We don't think the Jedi should be going here, or vice versa, back and forth. I have joked, though, being that there will have to be some sort of reconciliation, because the Jedi don't have like arrest authority. They rely on the Republic to incarcerate people and then take them to jail. And then they can interrogate them, but like, they're not the ones that are arresting them for breaking the law. They just they're almost like citizens arrest kind of a thing. I want to see an entire series dedicated to like Jedi law and order, the people who have to, like, maybe even a tongue-in-cheek kind
That's
of
a good
thing.
sound effect. I need to get that one.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Dong.
where they like have to litigate all the times when the Jedi randomly destroy property, or like mind trick somebody into changing their life, and they end up like way worse than selling death sticks or something. Like, I don't know. There's all sorts of random stuff. There was a similar series, I can't remember now, about like random people in the world of Superman and Batman and all that stuff, and they were just kind of dealing with the fallouts of what they do, and it was kind of a funny parody show. So anyway, all that to say, I don't think the Jedi being beholden to the Senate is a good thing, even though in this case, obviously, they do need some oversight because it's bad. But I'm wondering if you guys are taking that interesting and missing that like Plagueis could totally be behind this entirely.
Just because it's a theme song don't mean it's not true. So look, this is my point, is there's nuance to all of this stuff, right? What he is saying is completely correct. To your point, they should not be an arm of the Senate. They should also not be doing stuff that should make them justifiably be an arm of the Senate. So it's just like how in the Clone Wars, the Jedi are the good guys. We're rooting for them. We see more good in them than the Sith, of course. But like, they have lost their way, and it's fair to critique that. And people who have evil intentions can certainly use valid criticisms to, speed up the snowball. There's no doubt about that. I don't know if he has evil intent or not. But at the end of the day, what the Jedi are doing in a lot of ways is problematic and does leave themselves open to rot from within or without. And to Taylor's point in the Discord this week, we were talking about Legends. Like Legends Luke got that. He was very much like, yeah, that's so stupid. Why wouldn't you let them marry? Like that's crazy.
Yes.
You know.
And I loved the comment he made. I didn't write it down, but something about how the Jedi claim to control something they can't control, and she's like, we don't control the Force, and he says, no, your emotions. And I've been saying this
I thought
from
that
the
was
start.
fantastic.
As soon as I got into Star Wars, I was like, wait, why are we pretending that that's something that people can do? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I love that this character is in this show because he says these things, and then we see Vernestra. We see her lie. We see, I mean, it just ties in beautifully the bow of this mess made by Soul and his fellow Jedi. So, like, I only wish that we had seen Ray in Court sooner.
Yes.
That's one criticism that I have, because
100%.
a show like Andor, where you do have these multiple like plots going on, you do dip in and you get to see them in an extended period of time. In Ray in Court, they did mention him,
but not have
They mentioned him.
He's mentioned throughout the season, though. I'm with you, Andy. I think it would be good to have him there if he's going to play a major role. But it's possible they only wrote him more as like a season 2 antagonist kind of a thing. Like it might
Travis,
have been. It might be.
It was from Community. It was from Community.
I don't know. I liked him a lot, and I liked his points, and I felt like somebody was finally talking about what has been like at the back of my mind this whole time of like, well, the Jedi can't control their emotions, and I loved learning about Legends Luke and the changes that he made.
They're not
Literally
supposed
brings me
to
back to
control
the
their
Jedi need
emotions. They're
therapists.
supposed to feel them and understand them and let them go. So much
I don't know
about
though. Are they supposed to feel anger though? Are they
That's
supposed
it.
Listen,
not.
listen. Read the High
not.
Republic books. Ed, read the latest one, The Temptations of the Force. It's really interesting. Some conversations
next.
about this stuff.
We'll
really
have to do a
interesting
book club on it,
about
too.
what the Jedi really think about love and feelings and attachments and anger and how they're supposed to be using their emotions, because remember, they always say that, like, they're like, be present in the moment and feel your emotions and stuff like that. Like they're always talking about their emotions, but then at the same time we see all these Jedi trying to ignore them and press them away and not feel them.
But
And some of the later books have really talked about a much more sort of obvious way of like, you have to feel that you have that. You can't let it control you, but you're not necessarily controlling it either. You're just accepting that you have these emotions and not letting them be the deciding factor. Like, you need to know, I'm afraid, but you don't need to be like, no, I don't feel fear. Fear's not real. There's no such thing. And then it just grows in the background. They're like, no, I'm afraid. Okay, great. What do I do with that? How do I move on? How do I accept that and let it go? And that's become a very,
I love that
Andy has a
analysis, but the code is there is no emotion, there is peace. Like,
has that been canonized again?
Yes.
Yes. And doesn't Yoda say that? What's his quote? Like, anger leads to hate, hate leads to the dark side. Like, if you're teaching that to children, that says don't feel your anger or you will be the evil villain. That does not teach feel your anger and let it go at all. But I'm glad that the High Republic book maybe did have that. It definitely withered away. At least
they've talked more about just because we've really only been following like the main core Jedi. We don't really get to see how the average Jedi really deal with this, because of course the average Jedi deal with fear and anger and hate and love and affection and attachment and all this stuff, and it's very interesting. Go ahead, Taylor.
Thank you.
Wait, that's my line. Go ahead, Taylor.
Revenge of the Sith, Yoda tells, Anakin goes to Yoda, tells him about the dreams, blah, blah, blah. And Yoda says, train yourself to let go of the things that you fear to lose. So he doesn't say you shouldn't feel fear. He's acknowledging his fear exists, and then he's saying you need to work through it. So obviously, I think I don't even know how to say it, but I think it's misapplied.
Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, blah, blah, blah. Like these platitudes does not mean that but nobody has fear. It just means fear is a path to the dark side. It doesn't mean that you don't have fear and you don't understand fear, and we have to pretend like no one has fear because, oh my gosh. But it does make sense how if you just keep repeating that people could misinterpret it, that you could sort of attach yourself to that as a Jedi going through this and be like, no, I can't have fear. And to the point where now that actually is more of a problem than if you just accepted that you're afraid and then understood it and let it go and did something about it.
Well, and the way the structure is organized, that's then going to be passed down from master to Padawan to Padawan to Padawan. Like
Yeah.
the way it just, a couple people misunderstand it or, are taught it the wrong way. And then it just trickles down throughout the whole order. So
Leave
And
it to Yoda
especially
to
when
teach somebody
Yoda's-
something backwards.
When Yoda's yeah, good one. When Yoda's giving the advice of, let go of everything you fear to lose, like Anakin wasn't being totally forthright in that moment, but that's his wife. You know what I mean? Like again,
mhm.
the Jedi had that rule, but this is just categorically bad advice. I mean, it's just like, let it go, man. Let it, just be. Again, I understand that
happy.
We could
Yoda.
off program a little bit about this if we want to talk about Avatar, because Avatar has the same thing with Aang and Katara, but
Yeah.
we don't have to go that far. But they talk about it too. It's very interesting.
You get 90 seconds. Go. I like Avatar, so just if you
Oh.
can,
Well,
if
the
you can
same
do
thing
it,
happens.
go.
They talk about how the Avatar, the Jedi of this universe, can't have these attachments to be fully selfless and helping the world and be the hero it needs. And Aang struggles with that because he's a child and he has a crush on this girl and he really loves this girl and he's like, well, I can't let go of her. I can't not love people because loving people means loving her, and it's all connected. But what happens is he ends up blocked. He can't use his powers because he ends up so obsessed with not letting go of her. And eventually what happens is in order for him to move on, he has to accept the fact that he doesn't have control over her. She may go and he can't let that ruin his entire life. Doesn't mean he doesn't still love her, but he has to learn to be able to let go of her and let go of the fact that he's not in control. He doesn't possess this person, and it's not all about him and his attachment to this person. So they don't really
Brilliant.
explain it in depth, but they visualize it really interestingly to show like he gets to a point he's like, I have to like grow up, and I can't just let this one thing be the thing that rules my life. And he basically has his opposite Anakin moment where Anakin doubles down on the attachment. Aang has to do the opposite. He goes, you know what? I have to let go of her. It doesn't mean he doesn't stop. He still marries her and has a bunch of kids with her. Like, it's not that he stopped loving her, but he stopped being so attached to her that it was impeding his
Thank
it was
you. Love
impeding his
versus
ability
possession.
to actually do what he needed to do.
And this is why Legends Luke is superior.
Well, correct. Yeah, I really enjoy Legends Luke a lot. I'm with you, Taylor. It's not a either or thing for me, but it's fine. The other thing I would say is that's brilliant analysis, Michael. You're exactly right. But it's not like the thing that frustrates me, and I think would frustrate Senator Raincourt, whether or not he's a Sith. If you take a look at his words on face value, it's like there's a religion that is giving vague information that once their practitioners do bad things or it manifests in negative ways, then there are apologists that can say, well, what I actually meant was this. They were misinterpreted and all this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, at the end of the day, you've got superpowered people that are unregulated, and you think you'd fix the curriculum a little bit to better clarify
As
this
General
sort of
Rob
stuff.
over here wants to put a leash on the Avengers.
You have just no capacity for nuance, do you? it is
Clearly,
1 or 0.
I'm lacking all nuance. That's what it is. I'm just no. Ed's the villain of every superhero story.
He's poking fun. Wow, what a conversation that was. I'm glad I found this. Apparently, this is just a clip from a larger show that's live every Friday night. I don't know about you, but I'm going to subscribe so I can see more videos like this one. Hey, let's both like this video, to boost it in the algorithm, and then we can ring the bell so we won't miss the next one.
Good job.